Hi, I am Joelle Sanchez, and in this presentation, I will be sharing my research on the following two indigenous nations originally from the Great Lakes region, which are Menominee and Ho-Chunk. So this is exploring the Menominee and Ho-Chunk nations, culture, history, and sovereignty. These tribes have deep roots in what is now Wisconsin, and both have rich cultures, spiritual beliefs, and systems of governance that continue today. In this video, I'll explore their past and present, compare their traditions and modern experiences, and include a graphic organizer to visually show how they both are unique and connected. So, the first one, Menominee Nation, history and culture. The Menominee people have lived in the northeastern part of present-day Wisconsin for over 10,000 years. Their name comes from Ojibwe, word meaning wild rich people, which reflects their deep connection to nature and the environment. The Menominee lived in wigwams, seasonal dome-shaped homes made from tree bark and saplings. Their diet was based on wild rice, fish, deer, berries, and maple syrup. And everything they needed came from the forests and rivers around them. And culturally, they were part of the Algonquin language group, and they traditionally lived in clans, which were organized by family ties and spiritual roles. And they held seasonal ceremonies to honor natural cycles, such as Wild Rice Harvest Festival and the maple tapping season. They also had a major challenge in the 1950s where they lost land, rights, and services. However, after years of protest and organizing, the tribe regained recognition in 1973. Today, the Menominee Nation runs its own tribal government, including schools, a hospital, and economic programs. They also run a sustainable forestry business, which is one of the best in the world. This shows how the tribe blends traditions with innovation to thrive while they're respecting their land. And the second one is Ho-Chunk Nation history and culture. The Ho-Chunk, also known as the Winnebago people, originally lived in southeastern Wisconsin, which with land stretching into Illinois and Minnesota, and their name means people of the big voice, referring to the strength of their language and culture. Traditionally, the Ho-Chunk lived in long houses, and their lifestyle was based on farming, hunting, and fishing. They planted the Three Sisters crops, which were corn, beans, and squash, and they moved seasonally to follow food sources. The Ho-Chunk speak a Sawayan language, very different from the Menominee. They're deeply spiritual, with beliefs centered around a creator called Earth Maker, and they perform ceremonies like the Green Corn Dance, and this celebrates renewal and balance with Earth. Also, they've been federally recognized and has a strong tribal government. It is led by an elected legislature, and the tribe manages its own education, housing, and healthcare systems. They've created immersion schools and programs to keep their language alive. The nation is also active in political and legal efforts to protect their land and uphold their autonomy. So in my graphic organizer, which I'm going to show, I compared two tribes side by side. For example, while both tribes are from Wisconsin and hold strong spiritual beliefs connected to nature, their languages, homes, and traditional foods were different. The Menominee speaks an Algonquin language and focused more on gathering wild rice and maple sap, while Ho-Chunk speaks a Sawayan language and were more focused on farming and ceremonial gatherings. And both tribes today have sovereign governments, but the Menominee had to fight to restore their status after termination, while the Ho-Chunk maintained a more continuous recognition. So I showed that in my graphic organizer. One side is Ho-Chunk, the other side Menominee, and kind of just discusses the tribes. And then in the middle, it shows the things that they have in common, like I discussed. So while researching both of these tribes, it taught me a lot about the indigenous cultures, which I really didn't know much about. I've always been curious and interested in the cultures and just how they're living and growing crops. And both of the Ho-Chunk and Menominee show us the power of tradition, resistance, and self-determination, which, you know, that is just amazing, I think, in both cultures or both tribes. Also, the the tribal sovereignty is more than just government. It's about the right to maintain your culture, your land, and future. And these nations provide that even after centuries of challenges, Indigenous people continue to thrive and lead their communities with pride. So thank you so much for watching my presentation on the Menominee and Ho-Chunk nations. I hope it gathers you a better understanding of both tribes, their history, their culture, and an ongoing, you know, sovereignty between both. Don't forget to check out my graphic organizer at the end of this video for a visual comparison, and also I'll be adding it as well. So thank you so much. Thank you.